So first things first, on a metal roof, always install your drip edge first. And for standing seam, you especially want to use a T-drip. You can see by the shape of the T, that's why it's called the T-drip. And now you look over here at our corner or rake trim. This has got this little concave here. This will go against your fascia and your panel will slide into this J here. Now we like to make a notch on our drip edge to fit in that to close that edge off. So that's what we're going to do now. Alright, Tim here is the trim professional. He's going to show you how to notch your drip edge to fit into the corner trim.
Alright, so what you want to do, this is the part that's getting screwed to the roof. So you want to measure down this distance here. So we have about 1 1/8 inches. So then you measure down the same distance on your drip edge, and that's where you start your 45 to then cut down and cut it off to make it fit into your corner trim.
So once you're ready to install your drip edge, where the angle stops and goes straight down, you'll line that up with your fascia, and this should be right with your trim on the outside.
Alright, on our drip edge splice, we like to cut it back however much you're going to overlap. If you overlap 1 inch, we like to cut the outside back like that, and then the next piece will slide into here and it'll make a much cleaner and much nicer overlap.
Alright, now the drip edge is all installed, and now we're ready for the corner trim. Now for the corner or rake trim, being this is a monoslope roof, comes up here into this end wall, we're going to have to make an angle on this top part and fit it in tight there. Now there's several ways of doing this. The way I like to do it is to get a measurement at the roof deck at your highest point, and then give it about 1/4 inch of extra, cut my angle there, because I know that this part here sits on the roof deck. So I can measure to this point right here, about 1 inch down from the top, and then make my angle cross with that mark right there. Another way you can do this is just make your angle, fit it tight at the top, fasten it at the top, then go down to the bottom and cut it where you want it with your drip edge. But then you gotta square it and everything. I don't know how well you can see this or not, but here I've got my measurement intersecting with the bottom of the J, so I can make my angle with the intersection of those two marks right there. And since I know that the roof is a 312, I can just go ahead and make my angle a 312. Okay, here I've got it fitted real nice at the top. Got it tacked in place. Now we're ready to finish off the bottom. Now here you can see that fits pretty nice with the drip edge cutout we made. And I left it just a little bit long on purpose, but we're going to need to trim this back over to here so that our metal can slide in and be tight on the drip edge. And the reason I leave it a little bit long is because the metal will come out past the drip edge just a little bit, so I don't want those ribs poking past the rake. Alright, now I've got that trimmed and ready to install. Okay, now we've got drip edge and the corner or rake trim installed. Tim's getting that one over there. It's a little bit more of a complicated corner. Now we're ready for ice and water shield.
I'm really annoyed now.
Alright, we got the underlayment on and we're ready to install our first piece. So the way this works, you just slide it right into the J, push it up tight against your T-drip, and screw it in place. Alright, so we got a little bit of the roof installed. Dad was here prepping the metal sheets while Tim and I did the underlayment, but he had to leave, so now we got to come down and prep the sheets for installation. So first order of business is to hem the bottoms, and we're fortunate enough to have them come already notched from the factory. So all we got to do is take our rake and hang it around like that. Fold that corner over the bottom. And it's technically not necessary, but we like to trim this underlap edge back just a little bit, just to keep it from hitting the next overlap as the sheets are going on top of each other. Now these pieces are a little bit too long, so we got to cut them off. But another important step is to also bend up the top 7/8 inch. So we need them at 9'8", so I've got a mark there, and added a 7/8. So we'll cut it there, notch the rib out, and then bend it up a 7/8 inch at the top. Here's an important side note for you guys. When you're cutting metal, you always want to use power snips or a hand tin snips or anything that does not saw the metal. You definitely don't want to use a power saw or anything like that because it heats up the metal and showers little sprinkles of hot metal everywhere, and it will rust your metal much quicker, and it also voids the warranty. So do it right and use a hand snips or a power snips. We love these tin snips by Malco. Now I don't know if you can get these much anymore. We found some on Amazon lately, but our metal supplier wasn't able to get them anywhere, so thankfully we found some on Amazon. And we also use a few other metal tools by Malco. One of them is this hand seamer, and we like this one really good. It's an 18 inch, and it works really good with these 16 inch panels. And I also like the fact that it has this handle on top. I know some of them don't have that, so that's super nice. Now when it comes to your finisher piece, you cut it long ways, the desired width, and then you can take a tool like this edge roller from Malco and bend up your cut to a 90-degree edge, and that will finish out your roof. And there it is. We just put the last piece in there. Alright, so now that we've got the roof installed, last thing to do is to take this handbrake here, also made by Malco, and take it down on the bottom here. And crimp those bottoms nice and tight, like so. So there you have it. The basic standing seam metal roof installed. Now up there on the end wall, he just used a regular metal flashing, like a pole barn metal flashing for his end wall, because he had to put the siding on before the porch, so he wanted to put his flashing in behind the siding. And also we didn't have any headers or anything there for the porch roof, so that's how we did that, and then just fastened it through the ribs, and now it's done. So there you have it. And Also, I just want to say that the system of standing seam that we get from our metal supplier might be unique, and I know there's a lot of different variations of standing seam manufactured out there, so this may not be applicable to what you can get from your supplier, but some of the same principles might still apply. So alright guys, I hope you enjoyed these videos of us building this porch roof, and I know this is pretty basic, but I hope somebody could learn something. And I know there's also a lot of other ways of doing this. This is not the only way of doing this, but some of the techniques and things that I've showed you today are kind of the best way that we have found of installing this metal with the system that we have from the supplier that we get it from. So anyway, I hope it's helpful, and thanks for watching, guys.